Oh, sorry. So this is, I believe that this is somewhere around the 24th. I I have redone the logo, and it's Reimagining Wealth Initiative. Used to be Wealth Transfer. I thought this sounded more creative this way. And so it's October 15th today, and this is a session we're going to be talking about Gitcoin, and also Vincent Arena is here with us to talk about his Trove methodology of, um, what would you say, Vincent?
I guess it would be community curated events data.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, Vincent, if you want to share your screen, or if you want to send me a link and I'll share my screen, it'd be nice to show.
Yeah, let's see. I'm gonna try this. If it works, then let me know. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay, so this is an example of a past event that happened on the 23rd of September, press conference. So each event has its own event page. And so, like, for example, this meeting today could be added as an event on Trove and have its own page. You can share this page and people can click to add it to their calendar. You also can enable RSVPs, which I've already RSVP'd for the event. So this will show my RSVP, and this event specifically had presentations enabled. So then this little checkbox appears where you can actually fill out a form. So this was my presentation that I signed up for this event, where I put title, description, URL, I linked my project, and then answered some questions. So after an event is created and people start RSVPing, then basically there starts to be a repository that kind of gets automatically generated and is continuously updated as more information is added and linked to this event. So the first piece is you can see all the other people who RSVP'd, who set that RSVP to public. And if you click on any of those, you can see like the presentation that they signed up for, with more information, links to a project if they added one, or contact. And then, yeah, you can also go to people's profiles. So any of the circles here with pictures are people who signed up that have a profile on Trove. But we're also trying to make it really easy for anyone to interface with the platform without creating a profile. You could also click to the profiles of the organizers or the communities that are hosting the event. And then this is the event repository. So after the event is over, you can add your YouTube videos, like one or more videos, to the event page. So those will all show up here. There's also different types of data that's linked to the event. So for example, different projects. And because this is my project, I can add an opportunity. So this is like an offer or a request, which will link to that project. And then there are some other projects that were added by other people that I can view and go to those project pages. And so that was kind of linked after they RSVP'd. And then I'm going to scroll down past the projects. So then one of the other really interesting features is this shared links section. And so we took our Zoom chat and basically just dragged it onto the event page. And Trove has a feature where it'll automatically parse through that Zoom chat. It'll find all of the links or the URLs, and then it will capture the metadata from those links and add them to a resource library on the event page. So these links, there's a lot of links here, and these were all automatically basically added with all these images and the title and description. But if you wanted to go in, you can edit any of the links. You can change the title, you can update the image, you can add tags. And then these basically links will also show up in the group that is hosting the event. So if you have 100 different events over the course of a year, and you're looking for like one specific thing that was shared in one event, you could actually, there's a search engine for your group which is based off of all the information that has been shared inside of the events that that group hosts. And the last piece, which I'll share before turning it over to you guys for questions. So yeah, there's linked resources, and then you can also have like an agenda if you have people that are either presenting or if you have like conference type event. So this is the Mapathon event. If anyone's interested in mapping, this is happening actually within the next 24 hours. And you can have basically a schedule of sub events that are happening as part of your event as well. And then each one of these has a link to that other event. You can also have related events. So yeah, this is kind of probably too much information for what you guys are looking to do, but I think the thing that is important to show is just this like edit event dashboard. So this is just the place to go where you can say, okay, after the event, I'm going to add my YouTube link here. I'm going to upload the transcript file. I'm going to add images from the event. You can then, add the Zoom chat here, and that will give you this automated list of different links, which you can later harvest and curate. And so there's just giving you guys a view of what's possible. And this is all showing the data and information on Trove, but there are also, we've been experimenting with other ways to have the repository of information in a different database and still be able to display it on Trove. So for example, like Ecolab, if you go to the call repository inside of this group, there's a drop down for data source. So this will show all the events that have been like added and tagged with Ecolab on Trove. So for example, the press conference, which is the event that I just showed you guys. And then if you click synced, this is now showing all actually data from an Airtable database. And so it's pulling data from a different source, and you can still filter by certain things that are in that Airtable database that might not be in the Trove schema. For example, there's like 200 members of Ecolab that aren't all on Trove, but that are here to filter through. Because this is pulling from information. So yeah, excited to hear your thoughts and if this would be useful for the initiative you guys are undertaking, and happy to also answer any questions, as I'm sure it was a lot, but yeah, thanks, Lauren.
Thanks, Vincent.
Yeah, interesting. So can you crowdsource that activity of curating, extracting gems from past events?
Yes, anyone can edit the like the links that are publicly added to an event page, and then that Mapathon conference was kind of like a decentralized hackathon, and so we had a link where anyone could add their own sub event that would be then like tied to the main event, and so then whoever creates a sub event is able to edit all the information in their sub event, and it all aggregates. So there's about 20 sub events for the hackathon, and so all the links for all those sub events will all be aggregated on the like main community's links database, where then people can collaboratively harvest and curate and continue to like add tags and make those resources more relevant. So yeah, we're trying to make it as collaborative as possible without people having to know how to use like Airtable and spreadsheets.
I'm a little bit lost. So what is Strove? Is that a service online or?
Yes, Trove. Sorry, I thought I mentioned that in a previous call, but Trove is it's a combination between a social network and a knowledge management tool for groups.
Yes, so I think you presented once because Lauren invited you to present that. Yes. Okay. So is that a beta kind of online service, or is that something mature, or
yes,
something that you play with, right?
Exactly. It's currently in about 6 months into development. We have around 200, 300 users on the platform, and have been basically in an alpha, just experimenting and adding new features and getting feedback for the last few months. So
did I get to that at some point? Did I get to that? Did you share a link with people, or did you invite us to join?
I'm not sure.
Is it possible?
I'm not sure that I did send you guys an invite link, but I would be happy to. And I guess, right now the main kind of focus is around groups and events, and particularly events that are like want to be shared across different groups and communities. And so, if you guys wanted to play around, I could either set up a group for the wealth transfer initiative and invite you guys to that, or I can just invite you to like the alpha group on Strove.
I'd love to sign up.
It'd be
nice to experiment with it.
Yeah, let me put a link in the chat.
Atus, I hope you weren't in the waiting room too long. I keep forgetting that I'm hosting, and I forgot to look, and there's no ping. So
yeah.
So
Hello.
I hope I didn't leave you hanging.
Vinicius told me. Vinicius told me. I'm happy with it. Thank you, Lauren.
Welcome.
Hello, people.
Hello.
Well, it's nice to see another face.
I just came on board and sorry.
Oh, Tiberius just showed his face. I always like that.
Yeah, I just connected to on.
Okay. I'm trying to switch on my camera here. I really like this Strove. Wow, interesting.
Did you share a link or something?
First time I hear about it.
Yeah, so it started. It actually started getting like what Vincent and I were doing was actually starting to get a little too crazy, because we not only had like all of our sessions with the keywords and the transcripts and all of that, but then we have these deep profiles of people that we've developed from having these like appreciation circles. And so I was actually kind of getting concerned about privacy issues and in terms of people being willing to share, but not necessarily understanding the power of what we were doing. So even if we told them this is what we're doing with it, I was kind of getting concerned that people weren't realizing the extent of what they were sharing in terms of like the psychological profile that we were building on people. I just didn't like it, so it was making me a little bit nervous of like if people knew what they were kind of signing up for and how you construct kind of privacy boundaries around that. Because so what we discovered, even if people consent, sometimes when you do things in collective intelligence, even if it's like a consent-based environment, it can, if people don't realize exactly what they're consenting to. So I don't know if that makes any sense to anyone.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I don't know how far. Wait a sec. Did I lose anyone? Or is the oh, I can see the window. All right, here. So who's presenting this? Because now I can see people. Was Alex, right? Yeah, you're presenting this. Perfect. Yeah.
No, I wasn't.
Who was it? No, Vince.
Yeah.
Vince.
Vincent, yeah.
Vincent was presenting this. Okay.
From his car. Yeah.
Hello.
Hi. Yeah, I can probably share with you something that I wrote about how to organize how to drive, let's say, how to drive self-organizing events. You might want to add it to this, because what we were thinking about is like what happens before the event. How do you make the event self-organized, and then this is more about what happens during and after the event. So you might be interested in checking out this document and see if you can merge both into a more powerful tool. Just like, if you're interested, I can share the
Yeah.
document with you.
Yeah, I'd definitely be interested in the whole kind of workflow of like, yeah, how to manage, especially like decentralized types of events. Yeah, that sounds really interesting. Self-managed, as you put it.
Yeah, because we had so I like the fact that we let people we let topics emerge and have people organize their events, and there is a structure that emerges and all that, instead of having a bunch of people coming and imposing a format and a schedule, and here are the speakers, and come in and listen and participate, instead of having that kind of traditional approach where everything is designed from the beginning, and then you just fill in the space with the speakers and impose a sort of a structure. We thought maybe we can just set up a topic and have everything else self-organized, and it's nice to see that. I mean, I could use this methodology that you presented during and after the event, just as a method to capture, as a capturing mechanism. You see what I'm saying?
So one of the reasons that we started doing it, and it kind of followed these discussions around creating a group memory.
Yeah.
And it's actually harder and more complex than you might think to create a group memory, because everyone, even if you have like a video of the event and the transcript of the event, how people process it in their own minds is completely different. Their take on the meaning of the event is different in each person's mind.
Yeah.
And what stood out for them, like for each person, each group, even here today, is listening to what's being said and processing it, and it's like going through them in a very different way. So each person has a completely different take on this same conversation. And so what we're trying to do is develop a collectively intelligent process to get as many views of an event as possible, so that there's a place where, instead of having notes from the event, what's more intelligent, at least Vincent and I think, is that having several different versions of notes and being able to view the view from another person's eyes.
Yeah.
On what their notes was, so that you can say, oh, if I can view TB's notes, then I can see what the event looked like from your eyes, and what is actually important to you, and how you interpret it through your mind. So that's it's a little bit different. The philosophy is a little bit different than having like the group notes, which is almost always, I can assure you, one person compiling the notes and doing it, what their take was. So one of the things that we can do is to do like a summary at the end of our events, and use that to write the next newsletter. So we can do the newsletter. We can take 5 minutes at the end of our event, do a wrap, and then send that wrap out in the newsletter, and also post it in Trove as our kind of collective wrap up of an event.
Yeah. Is Vinny coming, or he just
I don't
gave you
know
the
if he's coming or not.
okay? He just gave you the baton to hey, Atus.
Vinicius told me it's a very, very limited bandwidth place, you know.
Okay, yeah, very good. Okay.
Alexa, I don't want to put you on the spot. But we were having a conversation earlier about the e-waste thing. I was wondering if you just wanted to explain that, because it's kind of like building on what we were talking about last week when Unai was here. I was
To talk about
telling him
e-waste.
the e-waste and the Linux and the
Yeah, isn't it off topic for this group? I don't know. I can talk about it anytime.
I think it's actually on topic for what we've been discussing. And
I'm happy to. Yeah,
Unai has just come, and so
right. Hi,
welcome,
Unai.
Unai. So Unai, I was talking about some of your ideas. Like I was telling my friend Alexa about your smart innovation ideas, and then he said he had an idea that he wanted to add to that as well. And then after we talk about that, maybe we can kind of circle around to Vincent and Trove and actually sign up to Trove.
Yeah, I think yeah, I'm happy to talk very briefly about that, so people get some ideas about like who I am. I think that would help. And when we get back to Trove, I'm also interested in that. I've been putting some comments in there, so if I get a chance, I'll raise those questions up as well. Okay with everyone. So yeah, briefly about what Lauren was talking about. So one of the projects I'm doing in here in Australia is a project that's the intersection of open source and circular economy. And the project is about bringing life back to older computers with Linux. So I'm active in both worlds of the circular economy and the open source, free and open source software.
Mm-hmm.
And the idea is very simple. There have been like teams doing that, but our approach is to make it a campaign and running like help training the trainer for people running install fests in their own cities. And we're going to ship USB sticks with multiple boots of Linux. So locally, people would kind of do advertisement for anyone who's got like an old computer or laptop. They can bring it to the install fest, and then kind of learning how you can put it up in Linux or install it, and then either they bring it back home and they enjoy it, or they donate the computer, or they donate it and we just like do the work, and then shipping it to other places where a computer can be used. Like in Australia, regional areas in Australia, teenagers, for example, that often don't have access to a computer. That's one target. Like elderly that can't really use smartphones and these like stupid interfaces, they can just like get a bigger screen with a computer that can help them. And like there's probably going to be a lot of surplus of computers that we can kind of send out of Australia, whether it's wherever it's needed, like South Asia or Africa or anywhere else. Basically, that's longer term down the track. I think that's what Lauren and I were talking about. Like Lauren mentioned, you and I, and we spoke about that. I don't talk more about that, but I'm always happy to talk anytime about it. But for now, I respect this group and their topic. But hit me on if you need me to talk more about it.
Can you repeat the name of your website?
The project is like Triple L. We have a page, not a website for it, because we're in a lockdown at the moment in Australia. So when we started the project, then lockdown happened, so we haven't started actually the operation. So I can put like a link.
Can I expand on what you were talking about? Because what made it really interesting is we were talking about also. So there's some organization that he's working with that has like a little bit of a budget, and I said it would be so cool if we could put together some kind of video or explainer on open innovation and how that might work. For example, if you have Linux on these computers and maybe connect them in a network, and then have them be connected to something with open hardware and in other kind of open innovation things, what might that look like, and give a vision, but have this company who's doing this specific project take it out of that budget, but have that be in the commons, so that anyone inputting that in a open innovation, we're calling these hash bins, so that anyone who wanted to promote open innovation could take this explainer video, which we could kind of put the original on there, so it could be repurposed for other projects using open innovation. And we could use that for grants and stuff like that, explaining kind of like what we're doing and putting different logos in there.
So basically, the idea is, because we have funding for this project, and the community around this project is like open source people, hacker spaces, people who are like right to repair people, like geeks. If you find something you can't use some pieces, you just take it out and use it in a project. For example, you take the camera out and attach it to another Arduino or something, or like a Raspberry Pi, and like you make use of things. So the community that kind of share that knowledge, that makes it very related to the open innovation. And the idea was basically we can use part of the funding we have for this collaboration, well, whatever format Lauren would be thinking of, to create explainers. So we would use that video for our own purposes, like to reach out to other organizations we want to partner up with. And it can also be used for promoting open innovation in other contexts, like a multi-purpose product. And the more general idea is that if we can learn how to work together with the grants that we have access to and the funding we have access to find common purposes, so that whatever is produced can be used in other purposes, so we can multiply the value for money that we have access to as a broader community. Like a meta community, like I was looking at the events that are listed on Trove, the change makers. This is kind of a meta community. We're all active in our own context, local area, most of us, but then we also part of the same group. I like the fact that Trove was asking about the values and things like that. So with the things that Lauren is talking about and collective intelligence, in that level, we can share a lot of resources. And I'm talking a lot, but I also liked a lot, Vincent, when you were talking about goals, and I was like going through goals, I could actually pick a few, which was really good. One of them was like sharing resources and access to resources. John is speaking.
Yeah, interesting, because Unai is part of an organization in Tanzania called Smart, and he might be interested in that. I'm interested because I want to revive the activity at the Sensorica Lab in Montreal after this pandemic craziness. So one of the this would be cool, just to make an event, bring your computers, and let's.
Which angle are you more techie into Linux or more into the circular economy, if I may ask?
I think both of these things are colors of the Sensorica Montreal Lab. People can come there and repair their stuff. So you like the idea? Yeah, okay, I understand. The lab is a makerspace. So what I'm proposing here is that if you have a methodology in place, and if you want to have some other partners around the world that run these events in parallel with you.
Yeah, man. Yeah, like this is brilliant. Yeah, like this is great. That's awesome. I'll tell you a bit of. So what we're working on is a box, right? We call it Toxic box. Tox is the name of a Linux penguin.
Yeah.
So Linux has an animal, is a penguin, and the penguin is called Tox. So we're going to call it Toxic with a U. So that's a box we're basically designing. It's going to be shipping the USB sticks with some manuals, how to install Linux and what is inside it, and also the philosophy of open software, even though the immediate target audience would not be really interested in the philosophy, but we're basically using it like to educate them about like the fact that what it means to run free and open source software. So yeah, so once we design this, we're going to ship in Australia, but anywhere else we can ship, definitely. Even if it's not within our budget, it's just something you can produce in your own like place. You can write it on USB sticks and print it locally. It's all available, definitely.
Yeah, that would be nice, because we could all make some
Awesome.
noise and sort of establish this event. But I don't have time to work on a methodology for these kind of things. But if you have something ready out of the box, you know, we can.
Yeah, that's what we're working on. Definitely, man.
Exactly.
Awesome. That's brilliant.
Yeah. So I was looking at the Sensorica documents where to. There is something about events ideas, and I'll plug this idea there. And I don't know how to get to you, but maybe through Lauren. Or you can have my email address. And
sure. Yeah, I'll put mine too.
Thank you. I was alluding to Unai because I was thinking that if more of us participate in these kind of events, we can actually refurbish and funnel some of this hardware towards his community. And from my recent experience with the project with some engineers, students in Africa, in Tanzania and Kenya, is that, well, one, connectivity to internet is very unstable, but second, a lot of these students don't have good machines to do like a CAD, a 3D modeling,
right.
you know, and sometimes it doesn't require a lot of computational power because we're not doing very sophisticated 3D models. But I sense a lack of you know, adequate connectivity and hardware, and these are very brilliant students, you know, that could contribute to these projects and even make a living from contributing to them, but yet they don't have the tools to do it. So we have the brain capacity, but we need these people to be more connected, you know, and have.
Brilliant. I want to add another thing. In the beginning of computing history, there was a concept of terminals, if you know what that means, like when they were like computers. They were not computers, like they were basically screens and a keyboard that would connect to the mainframe. So you would connect to the computer, and a lot of Linux commands come from those days where there was one computer. Similarly, what we can do in these spaces, I'm already working on like tools that allows you, like a smaller computer, like a slower computers would act like a terminal, meaning like a client, where you can either, if you have good internet access, you can basically connect, like using browser, you can access to things happen in the server side, and you just need a browser, a computer that's capable of running a browser. Even if not internet, basically there could be one computer in the area that is, so long as you manage to connect to that computer, you can independently run your own things. And again, Linux can easily be set up for those things with containers, and you might know about. And now within the browser, you can run very sophisticated software. I think what you mentioned, CAD, I think CAD can actually run in the browser. There is a open source web like editor, code editor, like Visual Studio Code, that you can totally run in the browser. So that's what I'm playing with basically these days, to make the entire experience for someone. My persona, the persona I have in mind is a kid in regional area in Australia, but I think that translates well to anyone else. I'm assuming there's not necessarily an internet connection, and the person doesn't necessarily need to install things. It's the browser is the only kind of expectation of the person to know how to do, and everything else I like to make sure that it can happen, not necessarily needing to be on the computer, but outside. But when it's Linux, you can be totally offline as well. So that was like a bit of a background. It's totally aligned with what you were saying in the environment you were describing. We can make that happen with that architecture, like a client and server.
Hey guys.
Keep your eyes on the road.
Yeah. I'm here in the countryside of Minas Gerais. I'm heading to the north. We're going to see a land where we're going to start a new co-creative occupation, a very large piece of land, and it's going to be a land for the commons too. We already have 3 experiences for the commons in huge lands here in Brazil. Now we're going to take a look at this land at the north of Minas Gerais, near Bahia, for you guys to understand how large is Minas Gerais. Minas Gerais is the size of Finland or Netherlands. Netherlands plus Sweden. So it's like I'm crossing 2 countries outside. So really on the road. I found some 4G here, but it's a rarity. So I don't want to interrupt. I just want to say hello, and a pleasure to get acquainted with everyone that I don't know here. I think that it's what's your name? Alexa? No, I can't read your name, man. You with the cap and the you're just talking. I can't see your name here.
It's Alexa,
well,
yeah.
Yeah, Alexa. Yeah, it's a pleasure, Alexa. My name is Vinicius. Pleasure to have you on board. We're calling now the Reimagining Wealth Initiative, isn't it, Lauren? Is no longer TB is no longer wealth transfer. Okay.
Very good. Very good.
Yes, reimagining. Yeah. And we're here with Atus. Atus is here. Yeah, what? That's great. Vincent! Vincent is my...
Hello.
Yeah, man. When Vincent is on the call, my name becomes Vincent and his name becomes Vinicius. So
Hello. Which is funny because I'm driving too, so I feel like we're twinning right now.
Well, really, man? Wow, that's great. That's great. Hey, Atus. Hey, Atus. Wow, man. That's huge. Huge to have you. Unai is here too, man. Wow. Great, Unai. Wow.
Hi,
really,
everyone.
Really great. Really great. I just want to check in a little bit. I have to get on the road. I have at least 8 hours of driving here. So there's a lot of ground to cover. And just to say to you guys that I'm really emotional because we're really getting our hands dirt, right? Really starting to do something very meaningful. And I know that it's very meaningful. I saw your video, Lauren, about the system D. It's D. How do you say it in French? How do you say it in French?
D.
Is system B. Yeah. D. Well,
D
it's great. The bruit. I think that TB knows how to say this in French better than you, I think, because he's part Canadian, you see.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so you guys, I'll check with you after, okay? I have to continue on the road here. Just to say that very nice to see you gathering, and I want to see what steps we could further here. We made today in this work party. Okay, so that's it. Thanks for having me. Okay, bye. Let me go.
Are you going? What happened?
Thank you, Vinicius.
Yeah, because I'm on the road, man, and
okay, all right.
Yeah, I just found a little spot with 4G here, and
Okay, you said that. Yes, of course. Yeah.
yes,
Well, nice to meet you. I'm glad you met. Yeah, beautiful.
yeah, and that's it. So please, I'm going to start. I'm going to try to continue here for a little bit because it's a little bit wacky, my internet access here, but I'm just emotional. Okay, just to see you guys here. It makes me emotional. So go on. I'm not here.
That's
I'm here, but I'm not here.
Yeah, that's all right. I also believe you can dial in when you don't have internet connection. Zoom allows for that, just for future reference, not necessarily.
Okay.
Tonight.
When it doesn't have data connection, yeah.
Yeah.
No, you can just dial in and you don't need data.
Yes, you're right. I can dial in. Yeah. Zoom has this alternative. You're really right about that. So that's it, guys. Checking out. This is be well. I will check with you, Loudon and TB after, and Atus. Okay. Bye bye. And a pleasure, Alexei. Pleasure, Nai.
Bye bye. Have a nice trip.
Okay.
Okay, perfect. Unai, do you want to add something here? I don't know. Did we expect to do some Gitcoin work here together, or is everybody's expectations?
It depends if
Properly.
others can guide us through some stuff. I'm not sure if we have anyone here who wants to work on it, like who wants to direct a tutorial. You don't want me doing that.
Well, yeah. Unai, were you expecting that or to work on the Gitcoin thing, or if so, I can stay and we can work on that together after. If people don't want to.
No, I don't have any expectation or plan actually.
Oh, okay.
Well, I just wanted to say I didn't have the chance before that. What you were talking about Alexa's project, yeah, and what TV was saying makes sense. So here a lot of sense. Actually, I just contacted last week a company, well, an organization in Spain who are doing that, like with computers. Actually, they refurbish them, they install Linux, and then they send them somewhere else. So.
Yeah, what it's actually interesting is to have these capabilities rooted locally. You know, I like the fact that people come to the lab with their computer. In the case of Sensorica, people come to the lab with their computer and they're going through the process of installing Linux instead of bringing their computer and receiving the service and leaving with a box. You know, bringing a box and leaving with a box. I think putting their hands in there, making people literate about their tools. I think it's good, you know, that co-learning experience. Because you're not making them dependent, right? The service makes you dependent.
Yeah.
I think it'd be cool for us to kind of ideate around an explainer video we can make about open innovation and what that might actually look like. You know, just the power of, you know, everyone talks about Douglas Engelbart's mother of all demos, and just envisioning kind of a future and, you know, putting something together like what it could look like with these, like, you know, within this kind of system B framework of, like, you know, refashioning these old computers which people think, oh, this is junk because it can't run in Windows anymore, like, you know, it's just a piece of junk. But it's not. It's just the problem is with Windows, like and it can be like not just refashioned, like thinking beyond, like you know, kind of like, oh, let's like save these people in whatever Brazil or Africa and give them our hand-me-downs and they'll be super happy with our, you know, crappy shit that we don't want anymore. Like, instead of the kind of that attitude, like building something really cool and that's like cooler than what we have, and giving a vision of like these devices running Linux, you know, making it like how that connects with like open hardware and how that connects with something else in this technology, and people are you know, using this, you know, the smart innovation that Unai was talking about and start building on that to make, to expand. You know, Unai had you know, identified maybe 10 technologies or something, but identifying more of those and then building on those and making them more sophisticated with materials that people had on hand, and then making super easy tutorials that even people who couldn't read could follow these tutorials and make stuff, and start packing like business plans into these, like, oh, you want to run a business doing this, And with all the materials and all the stuff that people might have on hand, they could just step by step follow the instructions and do something that someone's already done, say in another village or something like that. But
something I add to that, I mentioned to Lauren, it's the Linux computers, something that we're not told about, like when, let's say, Dropbox is selling just storage accounts and others. A Linux computer can easily be set up for like a small business to do their a lot of services that right now we're paying cloud services, and even if it's free, basically with the customers, with the products, it can easily be provided by a Linux. And like what Lauren was just saying, the instruction to set up those things can be on those Linux machines, and even if it's not ready at the beginning, it can be pulled in later. So someone who receives this can also learn how they can use Linux to set up a file sharing service, a media server, or anything like that in their own area to small businesses. That works even without internet connectivity. So long as you get to the Wi-Fi of that place, you can basically share files amongst each other and things like that. So it's really an enabler of a place. And also what you're learning, it basically brings you, you become part of a very large and very strong community of Linux people around the world. So that exposure is really empowering on its own, wherever you are, whoever you are. Don speaking.
So you can, you mean you can make like a small network of people just by connecting Wi-Fi to like a sort of a mesh network?
Basically, you like there's a software called Nextcloud that large organizations use it. It's free and open source, and it's better than current cloud services. I'm basically working on a workshop that shows you with one single command, you can run it on your computer, and you get the Nextcloud app, you put the IP of your computer, and here you are. You share your images to your own computer, especially if you're on Apple running out of storage. And that's just one single command. If you properly install it, you can create accounts for people in the area. So long as people can connect to that computer, they can use very good quality cloud services, whether it's file sharing, whether it's whatever you want to call it. It's a and every day there's more integration to that. So that's that was a long way of saying yes.
I just wanted to mention that so next week Vinicius and I should be done with the spreadsheet that we've been making, and I'd like for us during the week, and I'll send out an email newsletter reminding everyone to sign up for Trove so that we can start putting our stuff on Trove next week, and collaborating on doing that for our sessions and sharing the links that we've shared in the chat, etc. And then we can start after that, after we get something on Trove that documents all the sessions, then we can sort of go through it a little bit deeper and find the memes that have been developing. And I think one thing that would be helpful to people is to find the places where what someone has said has spoken to you, where you think, oh my God, at that moment I understood what that person was working on, and that really spoke to me when they said this, and being able to kind of highlight that and give feedback on people of, you know, because sometimes you say something and no one's understanding you. Sometimes it really touches people, so we know when those moments are. And also build up a database, like if I want to see Unai's history of when he's come here, when he's spoken, and what he said, you can navigate that a lot easier. So we'll do that next week. But again, try to sign up for Trove during the week, so we won't spend too much time on that next week.
It just takes putting an email. We can do it right now, all of us. Is that right?
Do you want to try?
When you say sign up, I have already. What I'm saying is, it's not like a lengthy process. This is what I understood, unless I'm wrong. If that's what it means, signing up for Trove.
Yeah, I think it's, yeah, I saw that you actually got a notification that you signed up. So yeah, I think that's it. I can repost a link though, in case anyone joined after I shared the first time.
Yes, please.
Yeah, we just take a moment, like 2 minutes, for anyone who is kind of, it's comfortable doing it now. They can just like putting it down, and then we can move on. All right, the link is in the chat. So this next 2 minutes, you can put your email in there.
Well, I already did that. So what's the next step?
And then you should get an email
Oh,
confirmation, and then you can make it'll give you a link to make your password.
I know this sounds, I'm sound like an idiot, but I can't find my account.
Lauren, I could send you a link to reset your password.
Okay, because I
Hold
had to
on.
clear out all my cookies, and it just you know, before I didn't even have to do my password. I'm so embarrassed.
Yes, there is a reset password, but Lauren, I could generate one for you if you want.
Okay.
Okay.
he didn't ask me to generate a username.
So once you get in, you could add like a username under your profile settings. And Lauren, I think I sent a reset password email to you.
Okay.
Hey guys, we stopped to have some lunch here, so I'm going to be here just hearing you guys talk. For a
Make
little
sure
bit.
you take your mask down when you're eating.
It's the new plasma mask material. Food can go through it.
So should I create a new community,
But COVID can't.
Vincent?
Yeah, I think that would make sense. That way, next week, if we play around with creating an event, we can create it under the community and make it private. So, you know, everyone here will see it, but other people don't have to see it unless we make it public. So I think that makes sense. So Lauren, if you want to create the group, or I'm going to have to run in a minute. But yeah, if you go to your dashboard and hit like create community, anyone can do it. So I guess just if one person does it, then that person can add everyone else as admin
Okay,
to the
so
group.
Vinicius, how about a 1-sentence summary of reimagining wealth? Or TB?
Well, let's say we can co-create this together, right? I would say that we're reimagining wealth for a new kind of humanity on this planet. I don't know. Yeah, I think this is very broader. This is very wide. I think this has to be something more concise, right? So something more concise, direct to the point. What you say, TV?
How do we describe in a very concise way reimagining wealth?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think I'm ready for that. But when you ask me this question, it brings me somewhere else. I'm going to share a link. A few years ago, we did an event organized by. I participated in an event organized by David, what was his name? Well, I'll share it with you. And but the name of the event was Reimagining Value Deep Dive. Reimagining Value Deep Dive, and this was in Germany near Berlin. Insight from the care economy. Yeah, so I think this is, I have a PDF here. And I don't know if you know the
Well, I think I have some idea here about this one
Yeah.
page that Lauren is challenging us to create in real time, right? So I think that one of the things that is relevant, Lauren, that what we're trying to reimagine, not reimagine, but to actually to prototype, to materialize, is wealth as not human-centric, but life-centric, right? Wealth, it's a life-centric perspective, not a human-centric perspective. Since that shifts, the shifting for the planet's life, right? All the life that has on the planet, we can not only reimagine but reshape the way that we understand wealth, right? Because it's a more we become more symbiotic with nature. We understand that it's a relation. It's something that is relational with nature. It's not something that is extractive with nature, right? So it's another kind. It's another ethics. It's another thing. Isn't the same thing that we understand as well, right? Actually, because actually, when we understand, we talk about wealth. You guys know we talk about hyper consumerism. Talk about all types of riches, right? Material riches, financial investments, real estate, things like that, right? So if we're talking about wealth, we're talking, TV did a OCAST experience about that. We talk about health too, right? We talk about wealth, at least for me, for this third decade of the 20th century, is related to health, right? Is related to a life-centric perspective and worldview that it's aligned with the cosmovisions of indigenous people, indigenous tribes, indigenous aboriginal and indigenous tribes. I think that is something that is more nomadic than sedentary, right? In a sense that if we're trying to regain or not only reimagine, we're trying to embed in ourselves, in our daily lives, a real symbiotic relation with the complexity of nature of this planet. We have to deconstruct a lot of things. We have to nurture this type. So the words would be the mimetic wording would be life-centric. We're trying to do something that's life-centric. We're trying to do something that technology serves to it, and we don't become a product for technology, right? We don't become so. And Web 3.0 is a type of internet that seeks somehow this type of peer-to-peer decentralized relation where we own our own data, we own our own footprints, our own imprints with the other. in a very relational way. I'm just feeding Lauren here. If you want to feed too, TP or Apus, feel free. I think that certainly Unai could add a lot of would feed too. Unai, you're embedded in a very change-making culture, right? And I know that Tanzania has a exuberant nature. So I don't know. I'm just feeding Lauren here to see if she crafts. She's good to crafts. She crafts a little phrase about this.
I'm gonna pass on to TB because I'm doing our reimagining wealth thing on Trove. So I'm
Yeah.
only paying half attention.
Well, that sums it. I don't know how much people heard the message because you were cutting off
Yeah, it was
sometimes,
hard.
Vinny. Yeah.
I'm
But,
cutting off. I'm cutting off. Oh.
yeah, well, there's some kind of a background.
Is it better
noise.
now? Is it better now?
Well,
Not
we can
so.
hear you, but just sometimes we have this annoying background noise, but it's fine. Yeah. Well, yeah, no, I think this is good. Reimagining wealth. I think the initial idea for transfer was a call to action because after we reimagine wealth, after we understand that there could be new type of wealth that are emerging, then we need to also do something about it. And wealth transfer initiative was some sort of was also conceptualized as some type of alchemy where you transmutate one asset into a new asset, an old asset into a new asset. So for example, if we imagine wealth as a capacity for regenerative capacity, it was one example in our previous discussions, was people can act in a way that they create regenerative capacity, meaning their local economy or the local culture develops mechanism to replenish itself somehow through human activity. So human activities are not just extractive, but there's a byproduct of that feeds back into the soil, so to speak, and to sustain this activity. So the more mechanisms like that you have that recycle, that pull back in, the more regenerative capacity you have. Okay, so if you can look at the region and you can say from an environmental perspective, from an economical perspective, from different layers, you can say, well, that region is on an extractive path. So at some point it'll be exhausted, right? Maybe the environmental conditions will be exhausted, or maybe the economical conditions will be exhausted. And so therefore you can think about, how can we increase regenerative capacity so we don't reach a wall. So that is a form of wealth. That is a form of shared wealth, regenerative capacity. But how can you if that is a new wealth, okay, how can we create it? Well, you can use some old forms of wealth. You can use some old forms of wealth to transfer them into this one. So one simple example is what if we use fiat currency to invest in I don't know, in some social economy initiatives that create these mechanisms for regeneration. Okay, so you're burning money in some way. You take some old form of wealth, you're burning fiat currency to create these new mechanisms for increasing regenerative capacity. So I thought that the transfer is a sort of a call to action to say, let's let's do something. Let's do something about it. You know, let's dump. I mean, let's burn old assets and create new ones, right? Let's all burn old wealth and create new wealth, type of thing. But I agree that you know, we need to reimagine new wealth. Like we didn't discover, but let's say we collectively understood that regenerative capacity is a form of wealth, and before we did that, we didn't know that it existed. So if you don't know what you don't know, you can do nothing about it. So reimagining or discovering, you know, it's the first step. And once you identify these new things, you can have call to action.
My sound still bad. You guys hear me better now?
Maybe when you touch your phone or something, or maybe your microphone is rubbing against your.
Yeah, I'm going to put it in.
I would
better?
just turn off your camera and just talk into your phone, maybe.
Is it better now?
Yeah, much better.
Yeah.
Just say something because I can't hear you guys.
Something.
Yeah.
So I imagine the same thing that you, Chibi, when we were calling wealth transfer. I was with this alchemy perspective, which we're transmuting one type of wealth in a new type of wealth, right?
Yeah.
And all the calls that we have been doing here, all the conversation, we talk a lot about making this huge shift from human-centric, from the Anthropocene for a life-centric move, right? This is not something simple to do, but Loudon, when Loudon shared her the video that she made for the type of, let's say, grassroots innovation, collective intelligence for grassroots innovation, I felt that this kind of wealth that folks that are not, let's say, are don't have let's say less technology at its best, don't have internet access at its best, right? Don't have the latest technology of everything. Folks that have this gambiarra understanding that we can recreate, we can reuse, we can and we can do this in a very regenerative way, right? In relation with nature and in a relational way. I felt, you see, Laurie, I felt that actually we already transpass the reimagining thing. Okay, at least for us here, at least for you or for us, in the sense that folks that need to deal with climate change, folks that need to deal with harsh conditions, folks that need to deal with scarcity at its worst level, right? They need to be creative. They need to find solutions, right? They need to find abundance in scarcity. So in that sense, this is, and if you see the solutions that grassroots people, and Unai can talk really better than us about this with the project that he's running in Tanzania and he's related to. For me, it's clear that these grassroots movements, these peer-to-peer grassroots movements in Africa, in Asia, in South America and Central America, even in Canada, because I heard another day, Chibi, with a friend of mine that lives in Canada, that it's near you. She lives in Toronto. It's Jananda. You're in Montreal, right? She's in Toronto. she said to me that there's a lot of indigenous cultures in Canada, and they too are trying to encounter regenerative solutions for they to regain their own cultural way to live, right? So this is not something only related to what the UN calls third world realities, right? That I really don't like it. I really don't like this classifications of first world, second world, or third world. I think this is so hierarchical, so patriarchal. But we're not going to there, right? So what I'm saying is that we already have in all sorts of grassroots movements throughout the planet, people that already have a profound relation with nature. They already have, they are very creative. They can create stuff, not depending primarily on money, right? They can create stuff not primarily depending on fiat money or things like that. And I feel that this connection with Unai is very meaningful for what we're trying to conceptualize and materialize here, right? Because he has a direct relation with people that in Tanzania that is doing this, right? As I have here, we Atos and others, we have a direct relation with people that is doing here in favelas, in the countryside, and with indigenous tribes. So, so we're not talking here about something that we have to recreate, right? It already exists, right? It already exists. So it's just a matter to connect and establish and make that network of networks effect that we talk about TV here a lot, right? And I think that what we're trying to do here is this in some sort. And TB, I don't know if Laurie knows this, but TB was talking to me another day this week, right, TB, about I don't know his nationality. He's from Africa, an engineer. I forgot his nationality. What is his nationality, TB? He's from
Magige. So he is from.
I can't hear you, man. Say it again.
I think you're talking about Magige from Tanzania.
Oh, it's also from Tanzania. Okay, and he's having a hard time to work on the project because he doesn't have a good internet access, right? He doesn't know
and a good
all the
computer.
tools.
Yes, we spoke about it. Yeah.
Yeah, but still, he's very creative. He wants to work, right? So folks, what I'm trying to say here that we already connected with people that already have been reimagining wealth and in a very symbiotic way with nature, and in a very regenerative way too, in a sense that they reuse materials, they create new ones in a very system D or Gambiarra way, right? So for me, what we're trying to do here is this. How can we enhance this, right? How can we connect not only Utopia Sensorica, the NAI, how you say how you spell Unai, your initiative? The NAI, isn't it? NAI, isn't it? Help me
NIA,
here. Yes.
Yeah, NIA.
Yes. Yeah. So for me, that's it, right? We really, as TB said, and I agree with him, we really have the knife and the cheese at hand to cut, right? We really have the knife and the cheese to cut. We just need to start cutting it. Yes. And I think that this is the movement that we're doing, right? We're doing this movement. I don't know what feedback, Lauren, what feedback that Vincent gave to us today. I read what you said in the MailChimp newsletter, but I imagine that he really opened the Trove software, and we're starting to use it, right? To map, let's say, all the potentials, or to map all the perspectives, all the connections, and see how we can work together. Is that it, or is another thing?
Yeah. Cool. So now you are, Lori, you are setting up that page for reimagining wealth. Is that right?
Anthony, can you give me your last name and your email? So we're signing up to Trove. Before you came, Vincent presented again, and yeah, thank you, Douglas. And your
Oh
email.
no, I missed Vincent today. Damn.
Yeah, he'll come. He's coming back next week, and he was in the car today. He's gonna lead a full session next week where we enter all of our past sessions and Trove and all the links and start really doing stuff to minor discussions.
Okay.
Okay, great. I will send an invite, and I just wanted to see if you or Unai or others wanted to say anything.
Oh no, I haven't been here, so I don't know what you were talking about exactly. I'll hear from Athos and Unai. Athos? Unai? Oh, there we go. Unai's about to say something.
Yes. No, I very much resonate with many things that.
Unai, we're not hearing you, are we?
Oh,
Yeah,
no,
we're not hearing you. Yeah,
no, nothing. Hi.
nothing.
Oh,
Yeah, you said
Is that all you have to say?
ah,
I very much. You said I very much resonate, and that's it.
now, how is it now?
Better.
Hi, it's better.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Go on.
Let me know if it doesn't work. Yeah, that I very much resonate, and I was thinking of like this old man here who didn't go to school, and he has been doing his technology, producing his technology. He has a turbine, and he produces electricity for himself and his neighbors. He has created many other useful technologies like here. And yeah, I got to know about some other people who are similar here around. And I mean, and part of what you were mentioning, as I understand it, is also like how to enhance those, like, I don't know how to say, like mentality or behaviors, and connect them and help each other, and help more people be like that. And yeah, like that's something we ask ourselves here, like what could we do so that there are more people like this. He's called Puagu, so that we replicate Puagu. We need more people like him. Yeah.
Can you spell Guau? Is it a guy?
No, actually, it's funny because it's a nickname, and like I think it's a verb or something like that in Swahili, which means like doing like useless things or something like that. So people used to say like, oh, this guy, he's just doing useless things. And in fact, he was just innovating and creating amazing technology. And
And how do you say that again?
I wrote it on the chat.
And how do you say it again?
What?
How do you say it again? Because
How do you pronounce?
Yeah.
Puagu. Ah, okay, yeah, Puagu.
Guagu.
Yeah. Puagu.
Okay, so that's someone doing supposedly useless things.
Yeah, like that. Yeah, exactly. His name comes from doing something useless.
Okay. Oh my God, I think that is another great meme you have introduced in yet another session. because I think like everyone here probably feels like a Pragu sometimes doing like some stuff. People are like, why do you spend hundreds of hours doing this shit like no one else cares about?
What was the guy who's got the nickname actually doing again? He was developing software of some kind. Unai?
Innovating in some.
Okay.
Sorry.
What was the Bagu guy actually doing in this case? He was developing some kind of software?
This guy,
Yeah.
hardware. He's working with hardware.
Okay, but what was he doing though? Do you know what he was saying? Or
Yeah, he's right now. I guess he's in a town working and installing his. He has pumps which work without electricity, and he
yeah.
got some blueprints from, I don't know. I was in his workshop. He has some blueprints from 20 years ago from some German people who came, and he uses them to create his turbine there. I don't know, like 200 kilowatts.
That's a big one.
He has some customers, and so he goes to towns and he says, "Oh, these are the people who really need this. You know, like these people, they don't have access to electricity, they don't have access to water. These are the people." And he's really like open source minded. Like he has local young people here who go to his workshop and just to learn. He complains then. He says, "Oh, these young people, they are the disaster. They just come here. They destroy all my everything. They steal my tools, whatever." But you know, like they keep going there because he still wants them. And yeah, he just shares what he knows and he has very openly.
Sounds like he's doing pretty useful stuff then. He's definitely mislabeled.
Sorry.
It sounds like he's definitely mislabeled. He was definitely doing useful
Yeah.
stuff by the sound of it.
Exactly. Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, for me, he's like amazing.
Yeah. So what's up with Athos? Athos then? Do you have much to say, Athos?
Do you have your white paper? Athos?
Hey, Athos, you there? Maybe he's not actually there. Oh, there he is.
Yes, I'm here. It's just a little difficult to hear because it's very noisy here, but I'm here. I'm trying to follow.
Athos,
What is
do
the
you have
white
your
paper about?
Sorry?
Do you have the white paper?
Oh, the white paper. We're writing. We're working on it. It's not done yet, but we already have some points covered. I really wish you have your feedback whenever it's possible.
Oh yeah, send it to me.
Oh, okay. Okay. Oh yes, I didn't send you. Sorry, I'm doing it right now.
I know I already have some feedback, which is try to write it less in the abstract. What I would love is some user journeys with like pictures and super simple and easy to follow language about like either, you know, and I've developed this format for kind of describing the growth of a project. Like that would be way more useful than an abstract summary of like 5 pages. Like you're just not going to be able to do like to explain what you're doing in 5 pages. I looked at the diagram. It's obviously too complex at this point. And what would be much better is just to start out with some user stories and just say, okay, like, you know, Vinicius, he, you know, interacted with Utopia in this way exactly, and then describe their experience. And then they did, you know, an experiment in their home, and then like, what was that like? And so that's kind of what I want to see. Like, I don't want to see the whole system. I just want anything that I can understand and grasp onto. Just to even understand a small part, so then I can build on that understanding, because I'm not even grasping like a very small part. It's like too big and too complicated and too abstract.
Lauren, that's a huge, great idea. Really good idea.
I'll share with you my format for, hang on, I'm gonna try to find something.
Thank
And
you.
yes, that's really good. And do something like in branding, when you describe a persona, right? A persona, you describe her life, her things that this persona likes, right? Uh, Habits and things like that. So you can make some story about it, create some narrative. Uh, of course, Lauren is not talking about this specifically, but her idea is really huge. It's really great because you can distill, right, Lauren? You can distill all the complexity about this, the systems take about things, right? The systems take that bird's eye view that's not holistic. It's very systematic. It's very cold. It doesn't have any type of warmth, right? And you can put warm on it. Yeah, that's a huge idea. Huge idea. Wow,
So
that's
obviously,
really
I just linked this thing called the story of the deep profile. So this is a quest template that I developed for Kiko Lab, and what it does, it tells. So this is not. This format is not like an advertisement for a project. What it is like something that someone can follow to know how a project is doing and how where an initiative went wrong and what's the reasoning behind what you're doing and where are you now. And so what it allows someone to do, like you can jump into this project, this deep profiles project, and see like where are we now, how did we get to where we are now, like where did we start, what was the reasoning when we started this, and why did we change things along the way, like what was the original thought that you did for Utopia and how did it change through your reactions from other people and stuff like that.
very good. Very good. Very good, Lauren. Very good.
Could we do a round and wrap up the call, and so I can just record this in Zoom and then use it for the newsletter. I'm going to transcribe it and then use people's takes and then just publish that in a newsletter, so I don't have to think of this on my own and do less work. Could we just have a round of what you thought this conversation was about and what you're taking away from it?
Yeah, sure. Who wants to go first?
How about you, Anthony?
Okay. Me and my big mouth. So I tend to jump around a lot, so I can't really infer what the rest of the conversation was about by the end of it here. But I look forward to reading this white paper, and I look forward to hearing more about this Pagu guy. Hey, Unai, can we Google the Pagu guy? Does he have like a name we can Google and check out what he's up to?
I wish. I really like to. It will be a dream, but it's not possible.
Oh, he's not up there, is he? Okay. He's too busy actually doing things to get on social media, is he? Well, anyway, also it's good to meet Alexar. Alexar, we haven't met before.
Hi, I don't think so.
Hey, it says you're muted, but I can hear you fine. Yeah, good to meet you. Okay, yeah, that's all I had to say in our wrap up. I look forward to seeing everybody next time. I'll try to show up earlier. Alexar, do you want to go next, maybe? Huh?
Más vale tarde que nunca. It's better late than never.
Yeah, I guess.
Anyone
Alexar,
else?
You called my name.
Alexar, do you want to go
Yeah.
next?
Oh, you're passing the ball to me? Yeah, sure. Yeah. We're wrapping up. Yeah, it was a pleasure being with you guys. Nice to meet you, Anthony. Nice to meet you, Tiberius. Hablas Español, is that right? That's what I was told. You and I.
Unai is the one who speaks Spanish, and Tiberius speaks French, and Benicio speaks Portuguese.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool. Yeah, Portuguese is fun. Yeah, I enjoyed listening to what you were saying, guys. Yeah, Trove is really impressive. I'm impressed. And what you guys talking about, the other Vincent, People Spring, about reimagining wealth, and like I enjoyed listening to that again. Yeah, very well aligned. Yeah, no more comment. Thanks for having me.
Well, I can go next. So just to get rid of this, I was not expecting to the topic, so that's cool because not everything should be planned, and I'm looking forward to as I was listening, I was playing around with these tools with Catalyst Network and platform. So I was like just poking around to understand how it works. And I look forward to see this Strove thing. I still don't see much here, but I suppose that somebody will lead us to the methodology, right? And if I could contribute, that's cool.
What do you mean
what-
methodology?
Hmm?
Methodology to what?
And
What do you mean
Trove?
methodology? Yeah.
Well, it's about capturing, scheming, the essence from events. No.
Okay. So there's a particular methodology to that. Yeah, I missed that part. Yeah.
Well, there's a tool, right? And there's a methodology, I suppose, right?
I didn't realize. That's good to know.
So there's more of a tool, and I think that we'd be co-creating the methodology.
Oh, okay. And we apply this to the videos.
Yeah, I mean, Vincent and I have created, actually, we've created the tool through my methodology, which I was doing kind of by hand with a lot of work.
Yeah.
He's an engineer and just kind of like streamlined my process into software. Yeah, so to make it, so we can find, this will allow us to just look at a sheet. It's like a spreadsheet, but looks better, and then has all the keywords from each session. So we'll, at a glance, we can see, oh, what was that conversation where we introduced Gambiaja? Oh, it was session 7 or whatever. Then we can go back directly to that point in the conversation where that took place.
Yeah, this is a wrap up. So, but I just want to mention this. Why I'm interested in this content that we created throughout these conversations as also a pool from which I can essentially remix video content. So I can take bits and pieces from 10 videos and make one. You see, so if I could have somewhere on a dashboard topics that I could search and I know more or less where to find them, that would be great, because I can't watch I don't know, 50 hours of videos, right, to do something. So if through this methodology we could also allow people to remix, it would be great.
Yeah, and what we'll be doing is building memes. So we'll start building themes, and where do we hit upon this theme again, and then connect those so that we can then, if we want to make blog articles and stuff, it makes it tons easier. Anyone else want to give a wrap up of the conversation? Like, what was meaningful for you, or what you took out of it?
Yeah, for me, I'm happy to be here. Can you hear me now? Yes. Okay. Yeah. As I was saying, I felt a bit lost about the purpose of the conversation, but still I heard many things which I resonate with. So I'm happy to be here. Thanks.
Vinicius?
Well, are you guys hearing me?
Yeah, it's a little hard.
Yeah. Okay. I'll try to better. Let me see.
No, I think there's a problem with the microphone. You did something. You pulled the wire or something that helped. That was improved the sound.
Sounds like the connection is flaky on the microphone. Maybe the little connector jack is a little bit
out of place. Better? Is it now better? Is it now better? No. Sort of. Yeah, I'm going to pull the microphone out. Wait a sec. Now it's better?
Yeah, that's better.
Yeah, okay. Well, I didn't see from the beginning this touchdown work party, let's say. Of course, I watched Vincent's presentation in some touchdowns ago, when he first came, right, for this wealth transfer, this reimagining initiative here that we're co-creating together. And I know that the movement that Loudon is making is a very relevant one. If we want to have to create this meme sphere, right? This meme sphere that can give us not only perspectives, but can give us all sorts of meanings, all sorts of machine meanings, machine making meanings, things that can orientate us, can be orientation for us to all the things that we're going to do together, right? Starting with Gitcoin. So if we have clarity of what we're talking here about, right? And meme sphere that we're going to start Loudon and me and everyone here is going to start to co-create this. I think this is going to make it more shareable, make it more appropriable for everyone. Jump in, to hop in, to co-create, to come along, right? And I didn't see what Vincent talked today about. I didn't see his presentation, but I'm just guessing that he did the same one that he gave for me, Loudon, and TB a while ago. So that's my take, not in relation what he presented for you, what he presented for you guys today, but what I saw in the past touchdowns, right? So for me is this. And once more, I'm still in the convergence, TB and Loudon, and Unai and Anthony, I'm still in the convergence mode to establish all sorts of convergences that we can create a common pool of not only of collective intelligence via this meme sphere, but resources, right? For us to enhance what we talk today here, related to the grassroots communities, related to the project that Loudon wants to unleash, wants to launch in Niger, related to what me and Atus and Guilherme wants to launch here with Utopia in Brazil, right? With the grassroots communities, with indigenous tribes and things like that. So for me is that. Forgive if I took too long to conceptualize it, because I'm still, I actually in a restaurant here, but my mind is on the trying to better connect with you guys. So for me is that. Atus, would you say something?
No, man, I'm just listening. I'm here and listening, and my brain's bubbling. You know, I'm thinking about many things, and I think you told right. You know, connecting. I think we must connect all these initiatives and all these individual actions. You know, Alexa, what Alexa showed us about Linux and reuse old systems it kind of it resonates with all of we're doing here with Utopia, with regeneration process and methods and practices, and I think we were all connected. We'll get there.
Has everyone gone? I think so. Great. Okay, I think that's it for today then.
Goodbye, everyone. Sorry, that's a little bit too fast. Sorry.
Bye. Bye, people.
Hey, it's time. Hey, the clock says it's time. Okay, bye guys. I'm
Wait,
gonna go.
wait. Just
Oh,
stay
okay,
a
sorry.
minute. Unai,
Okay.
can we see you a little bit better? I'm just gonna take a screenshot of who is here today. Okay, hang on just a second. Okay, 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay, thank you.
Okay,
Bye,
bye
Bye,
guys.
guys. See you around.
Yeah.
Oh, everyone left already. That was quick.